Hi everyone, I'm Valerie Davis from Assembly Global here at the Possible Conference in sunny Miami Beach, and I am joined by Jennifer Starr of Nextdoor. Jen, would you mind introducing yourself and telling our audience a little bit about Nextdoor and what you guys do and how you help serve advertisers?
Absolutely. First of all, Val, thank you. And thanks to the Assembly team for having me. This is so beautiful. What a great setup. So I've been at Nextdoor 4 years now. I run the North American enterprise sales team. So think Fortune 200 plus advertisers. And we are a national team covering kind of every type of vertical you could imagine. But for Nextdoor, really, you think about our audience as being predominantly homeowners, a little bit older, so more household income. So the types of advertisers that we work with tend to be folks who want to reach that kind of head of household decision maker.
So Nextdoor has earned a lot of recognition lately. They've including spots on Time's 100's most influential companies and Fast Company's Innovation by Design Awards. Can you share insights into these initiatives and achievements?
Through the lens of putting our neighbors first. So I think across social, you tend to see platforms that are really looking for that kind of mindless scroll, the spending more time, the speeding up. And our aim is actually to slow down the consumer and make sure that they're engaging in a really high utility experience on our platform. So if you think about something like Nextdoor's kindness reminder, the goal there is that when you sign up for the platform and you first are verified, you have to make a commitment to your community that you're going to be kind, that you're not going to engage in hurtful or harmful content. And if once you've agreed to that, you start to compose a fiery post, for example, this piece of tech will actually pop up and remind you of the commitment that you made to your neighborhood and ask you to kind of rethink. We also have AI that helps the neighbor to then reformat using AI really quickly, maybe kinder or better kind of equipped narrative to get their message across. And in these ways, our technology is meant to ensure that the engagement of the neighbors on the platform is both high quality and serves both the person and their community.
Amazing. I was going to ask this a little bit later, but I'm going to ask it now since you brought up the kindness reminder.
Yes. Yep.
Nextdoor has a commitment to purpose and creating a kinder world through one neighborhood at a time.
Yep.
I love that concept, and I love the Assembly has a purpose pillar, and we have this whole impact initiative tied to sustainability, diversity, and being a better world outside the borders of our company. And Nextdoor is really aligned to creating a kinder world. Can you talk about some of the ways that you focus on your purpose pillar at Nextdoor?
It's such a good question. And through the lens of diversity, which you just brought up, and we share that effort with Assembly, I think about our AMP program, which an incredible marketer at Nextdoor, Risha Howard, launched this year, which is effectively amplifying multicultural perspectives. And so the work that team is doing is going into neighborhoods throughout the country and identifying key stakeholders in Black and Brown communities that want to make their community better, not just in person, but also digitally on Nextdoor. And so bringing their voices and bringing their perspectives to the platform, celebrating those voices and elevating those voices is really core to the work that the AMP program is doing. We're so proud. It just launched a couple of months ago. And so I think watch this space to see if we have...
I absolutely will. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. We're really proud.
Okay, great. So then getting back into like the advertising and marketing ecosystem,
Yep.
There is so much change in this world. And like in our industry, it's a constant evolving innovation. You have to stay on top. How does Nextdoor stay front-footed? What are some of the innovations you guys are looking at, or what's on your roadmap to really help marketers reach their consumers?
I've already said AI once, so I'm gonna try to hit an AI threshold of it's imperative to the work that everyone is doing. There is AI both on the consumer side of the Nextdoor platform, as I described earlier, but it's also integrating AI into our ad tech for brands to be able to create the best and most effective messaging and content. I think is something that's really core to the product team's work right now. Also building a contemporary ad stack. So today Nextdoor is a managed service. We work with amazing agencies like Assembly to set up and run campaigns, but our team has traditionally managed those campaigns in-house. We understand that in order to innovate and stay fast and nimble with the rest of the industry, we have to offer that hand-on keyboards activation method as well. And so we're building the Nextdoor Ads Manager as we speak. Today, small and medium-sized businesses can take advantage of that. By the end of this year, enterprise advertisers will be able to be hands-on keyboard. Their agencies will be able to get in and really quickly kind of traffic and optimize the campaigns, which we know, most agencies kind of prefer to have that way of working too. So trying to kind of stay ahead of the curve, both from an ad tech perspective, but also just in the ways that you can activate as a brand on Nextdoor.
What do you think marketers and brands should be thinking about in 2024 and a little bit beyond that, and short term, long term? Like, what do you think is something that's on the horizon everyone should be thinking about?
So I'll plug our panel from yesterday, where our CMO Heidi Anderson interviewed just a panel of incredible women. Molly Batten from the Home Depot, Tracy Ann Lim from JP Morgan Chase, Marissa Thalberg from SeaWorld, and they all, in their kind of unique perspectives, shared this through line of there is the commercial imperative for brands, and then there is the cultural imperative for brands. And the commercial imperative can be achieved if you're activating the cultural imperative. So we care so much about that. Like, our end purpose is creating kinder communities and connecting communities to one another. It's so important. There is a loneliness epidemic in this country, especially post-COVID. People know each other less. They're in offices together less. So we know that the neighborhood is kind of the core place where you can create this kind of first and most proximate connection to people. Brands have an opportunity to do that too. And those three brands all stood there yesterday and talked about really meaningful ways that they're doing that. JP Morgan Chase's investment in Detroit is an excellent example. The Home Depot doing their first Saturdays kind of kids program where they're bringing kids from the neighborhood into their stores. So there are brands that are doing this already. I want brands to understand that that can check the commercial imperative box too. It's good for business.
So good for business. I'm so glad you said that. I think consumers, especially the younger ones, they want to align themselves to brands that they feel that match their values.
Yes.
And I think I agree. I think businesses are stupid not to focus on some kind of purpose initiative that is tied to what consumers really care about. So
100%.
I'm glad you said that. Give me an example of something, an activation that Nextdoor is really proud of.
I love our work with H&R Block. We've just exited tax season, as we all know. So H&R Block is obviously in every single community in the country during tax season. Their business grows. They're physically present in the neighborhood, those 3 kind of key months of the year. But H&R Block is doing really important work in communities throughout the country. They employ thousands of people the other 9 months of the year too. And they came to us, so they do a program called Make Every Block Better, and they have other partners for this work, Habitat for Humanity notably, but they are out in communities 12 months out of the year doing really important work, not just tax prep. And the goal when they came to us was, we want people to know that we're in communities doing this great work. So Make Every Block Better on Nextdoor gave neighbors throughout the country the opportunity to nominate their neighborhood for either like a park beautification or building a community space or cleaning up the local kind of Little League field. And we would then do the activation together with H&R Block, shoot a bunch of kind of B-roll, use that content in social assets that lived on-site and off-site, and basically promoted all of this incredible work while beautifying communities throughout the country. We've run that program 3 or 4 years in a row now, and we're so proud of it. It's won a ton of Muse Awards, and it's good for H&R Block's business.
I think I'm in love with the Nextdoor business now, so thank you. I will make sure I talk to my entire team about more with you guys.
Thanks.
All right, so let's shift our focus to Possible. We're here at Possible. Is there anything that you learned or something that you're super excited about from all the content you consumed?
I would be remiss not to say that we're entering a cookieless world this summer. it's stressful for marketers to think about what that might look like. And I personally came away feeling a little more front-footed and a little more confident in some of the measurement partners, the fact that the industry at large feels ready and feels confident that we will be able to prioritize privacy and safety of the end consumer, but also continue to prove to our brand partners that their investment is working. And in the absence of like living through that, you can be nervous. We definitely have, all of us have been on a roller coaster the past few years of like, will this cookie deprecation ever happen? I came away from this week thinking I feel a little more confident.
I feel like the cookie deprecation was like the year of mobile that Google put out there,
right.
and it took us 5 years, and here we are, and now it's finally happening, and now we're all feeling very prepared and ready for it. Amazing. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us at our Content Cabana at Assembly. We're so glad to have you and hope to host you again soon.
Thank you so much, Val. Thanks, guys.